Hi everybody, John Mather from Carasius Productions here, and today I want to introduce you to my brand new block, a call to action block. Now my call to action block comes in two flavours. There is a light version and there is a premium version. The premium version is available from my Headway add-on store, headwaythemesextend.com, as well as my free version. The difference between the two I will get to in just a minute as I demonstrate, but the premium one is on special, launching for just $15. So head on over and grab yourself a bargain once you've finished watching this video. Okay, so heading over to my testing site, I've got half a dozen posts set up. It's a simple blog page with a basic layout in Headway. We've got the header, we've got the menu, we've got our blog posts, and then we've got a footer. So let's head into the back end here, and as you can see, it is a very simple layout, and we'll just drag this down a bit. Get rid of that for a second. And we'll lay this out. We'll drag our footer down because I'm going to put my blocks at the bottom of my content. Alright, so first thing I want to start off with is my light block. Just drag this back up so we can see. So you can see I've got both installed here. So we're going to start with the light version. Just make sure that's on the bottom. Just going to set this block light. Okay, so here in our content you can see that we have our list of fonts awesome icons. Oops, get it to, and every perceivable font awesome icon there. So we might start with, I don't know, maybe a lightning bolt. Where's that? A bolt. You can use the keyboard, so I'm just going to hit B and it'll jump me down to, there we go, B. You can see I've put in some default text for the blurb. I'm explaining what a call to action is. We've got a text button, a button where we can change the text, we can change the destination URL, and we can also have this set up as a vertical display. If we pop over here to animations, you can see animations are only available in the premium version. So if you want to be able to animate your block, so have the different content, your block, the button and the content and your font awesome icon, then you can have them animate with the premium version. That is the only difference between the two versions. Alright, so we'll set this up, we'll hit save, and we will jump over into our visual editor over here. When it loads, and when we scroll down, you can see we've got the lightning bolt, we've got our text there, and we've got our button, which we can also edit all of these functions in here. So we can get rid of that text underline. It's gone. Alright, so that's our basic function. And if we hit save, when we go over to our site and we hit refresh, scroll down, there's our call to action block with the default styling in it. Alright, so if we go in, just jump back into our back end, I just want to show you something here. So if we go over to the Font Awesome site and have a look at our different icons, you can see all the range of icons here where those, so you can see we chose Bolt. But what I wanted to show you was, let's go over to the binoculars, and if we copy that text on the bottom there, the I-Class FA binoculars. This can actually be anything you want, so it can be paragraph, it can be H1, it can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a italics, but we'll just copy it just like that. We'll head back over to here, and we're going to paste that in front of our view more, and then we're just going to add a space, so there's a space between those. And I'm also going to go over to my Headway Themes Extend site, my Headway add-ons, and I'm going to post that in the URL as well. We will hit save, and then we'll go back and we'll refresh our site. What you can see now is we've now got the binoculars before the view more, so we can incorporate Font Awesome into anything we want. In fact, we could put a font, post that in to amongst our blurb if we really wanted to. And if we click on the view more, you can see it took us to our URL link. So that is a pretty good feature. But let's have a look. Let's draw an. Oh, let's also now just change the vertical display just to show you what that looks like. Hit save, and if I go back and click on View Site, so what the vertical will do, it will stack them all. So you can see now we've got them all stacked. So what we could do if we jump into our visual editor there, when we stack them, they get set a default width of 100%. So we could actually edit this, and we could align it center. Then we could edit this one. We could also align that center, and we can do that with our button as well. Text alignment and center. So there we have it. We could even add, because I've got this one selected, we could add, say, a 10 pixel margin and a 10 pixel margin just to give it some gap. And if we wanted to, we could select the block here and we could change our background. So we've now got a nice pink background. We can just make that white. Go over and refresh. And you can see we've now got it vertically stacked. So that's pretty much it. That's all there is to using my call to action block. But let's have a look at the premium version. So let's draw another block here. We'll make it exactly the same, except this time we won't use the light version. We will also, like I said, we'll make it the exact same, so we'll still use the bolt on there. We'll leave the blurb by default. We'll add our binoculars in. No, that's now the URL. Let's add that URL into there. Let's get our binoculars back. Add that into there, add the space. And if we hit save, we should end up with the exact same layout as we had before, as you can see. But now we can go in and add some animations. So let's make the font awesome, the icon, the lightning bolt. Let's make that a rubber band sort of animation. If you want to know more about what the animations are, if we go to GitHub at Dunedin animate.css, and we'll go into where is his example site link. There it is. We can see our different animate. So I chose to rubber band. Let's see if I can find that rubber band, and you can see how that will work. Let's make it last 1 second. We're going to make the blurb, oh no, let's just make it fade in left, and we'll take that a second, but we'll also delay it by half a second, 0.5 for half a second, and we'll make the button, we'll make that fade in right. We'll make that 1 second, so it'll take 1 second for the fade to take place on all of these. The rubber band will happen straight away. The fade in left will happen then half a second later, and 1 second after the rubber band starts, then the button will start. Let's hit save. Let's just go back to the top and we'll hit refresh. Now by default this is set up so it will only appear when your user, your viewer of your site, actually gets to it. Normally the animations will take place as soon as the page loads, but we've set this up. Why did that not work? So there's the animation take place. And it's, for some reason, that is not working. I'll have to check that. And well, maybe because I've got it 0 from the, so make it 10 pixels from the bottom, so that's when it'll appear from the bottom of the page. Yeah, there we go. So let's make it 100 pixels. Let's hit save. But there we can see our animations take place. So you can see that sort of rubber band in, that come in from the left, that come in. So there we go. There is the premium version of the block. So that's the difference between the two. So there are some very great things you can do with this block. Now here's another thing though. Let's open my header block. Let's just go into here. And we'll go into our config, and I want to give it an animated class. I want to give it a wow class, and I want it to bounce in. If we look at animate, actually let's make it pulse. We'll give it pulse. Now this block that I've installed, the premium version, now assigns this animation to all our page. So we can actually once we've got this block drawn on the page, we can make any element, any block on our page have an animation by giving it the animated. Wow is the class for when it comes into the view, and pulse is the animation that we want to happen. So let's just save that. We'll scroll back up to the top here and we'll hit refresh. And you can see that our whole testing block actually pulsed. There you go. So it pulsed in. Let's look at another animate. Let's just check to see if we can get another one. Let's make it go, oh no, ta-da, that sounds good. So we'll just double click on that. We'll hit ta-da. We'll hit refresh here. And there you go, the whole block actually ta-das. So you can see how we could do some fun and funky things with this. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy my call to action block. Look forward to seeing what you can do with it, so share it in the link. Any questions, hit me up on the forums, and thank you for watching. Hi everybody, John Mather here from Caressius Productions. I wanted to show you my new block I've built for Headway Themes users. It's a call to action block. So what that is able to do for you is a call to action, or CTA, is a banner, button, or some type of graphic or text on a website that prompts a user to click on it and continue down a conversion funnel. So that's basically what I've built. So let's have a look at a couple of examples I've pulled out from just Googling. And we can see here we've got Jim's plumbing call to action. So he's got an emergency and you can see the big button. That's one example of a call to action. Another one here is we've got some text and then we've got a button on the bottom. So let's have a look at how my block can help you with building your own call to action funnel. So here I've got a basic layout, header, menu, some blog posts that I've created just to list it down, and down to my footer. So what I want to do is I want to add a big call to action on the bottom here. So if we head over to the back into our Headway Themes, I'm just going to minimize this so I can open my wrapper a little bit. And we'll just keep dragging that out, just increase my wrapper size, and we'll move that down to the bottom. Okay, so there are two versions of my call to action block. The first one is a light version, and then we've got the full version. So I'm going to start off with demonstrating the light version. Drag that down to the bottom. Okay, so when we open up our block, you can see we've got a font awesome icon. If we click on here, we can see our range of icons. So the first one on the list is adjust. So if we have a look, we can see what the icon is we'd get for adjust, anchor, archive. So I think in this time we might go with an anchor. So there we have our anchor. Then we have our blur, which is our text field. In here we can use, what it says what you get, so we can add headers and things like that. And I've got a basic blurb in there to tell you what it's about. And then we've got our button, which we can also change our style to. We've got our link on where we might want to link, so I'm just going to add my link in here. By default it loads a hash key, and we've got the option to set it out as a vertical display. So I'm just going to leave that unticked for a second, hit save, and then we'll head on over to our visual editor, to our design mode. And we scroll down, and there we have it. We've got our anchor, we've got our call to action, and we've got our button. We can edit all of our button options, so we could turn off our underline on our button there. We can change our fonts, colours. We can do whatever we wanted with this. I've put in some basic styling, but you could style this any way you want. Let's just jump back into our back end over here. Scroll back down to our block, and if we click on here we can see animations, but there are no animations available in this tab. That is the only difference between my Lite version and my Premium version. So animations I'm going to cover off in just a second. Now, because this loads the Font Awesome icons, the Font Awesome text, if we go over to here and we have a look at our different icons, let's have a look. We've got binoculars here. If we open that binocular, we can see this italics class here. I'm just going to copy that, head back over to my editor here, and in my button text I'm just going to add that in. Let's hit save, click on view site, scroll down, and now we can see we've got our binoculars there. Let's just head over. Just going to not that one. Change my padding there just so it all fits on one line. There we go. So it's all back on one line now. Just click back over here, we'll refresh. So I'll just get rid of that underline there. I've got to save that before. Save. And when we scroll down we can see we've got it all on one line. If I refresh, that underline there will disappear. So there we have our buttons, and we can add, because the Font Awesome class is loaded, we can add that Font Awesome icons to pretty much wherever we want. If we go back to our icons, let's go to our examples now, and let's go in and we can see we've got some spinning icons. So let's load in our cog spin. So if we cut that in, we could go back to our design mode, back into our block, and we could actually add that, if we wanted to, into our class, our button. We'll hit refresh, and now we've got a spinning cog in there. So there's some pretty cool things we are able to do with this block. But let's take it to that one step further. Let's first, actually before we go there, let me go in and I'll just show you. I will click on vertical display. I will just save that. We'll head over to this mode here. And if we scroll down, now we can see they're all loaded on top. So we can go in and we can align these centrally. Can line our text centrally, where is it? Center align, and we could add some margins onto that, just to increase the spacing between the anchor and the button. We'll just give that a 20 pixel margin, and we can go in and we can align our button to the center as well. So we'll hit save on that one. So that's our vertical alignment. So let's take it that one step further, as I was about to say before, and let's go in and have a look at our premium block and have a look at how we can play with the animations on that. So I'm going to draw another block here, exactly the same, but this time I'm going to choose the CTA Lite. What I'll do, I'm going to keep it all the same. We're going to load the anchor. We'll add back in our spinner just for the sake of this. I'm not going to change my URL because I'm sure you get the idea on that. But if we go into the animations, we can now see the different animations. Let's sort of drag this up a bit so you can see the whole lot. So we've got, the first thing we see is we've got distance from bottom. That's how high above the bottom when it comes into view before it starts coming up. So we could have it 20 pixels from the bottom of the page, so once it hits 20 pixels from the bottom, that's when it's going to start scrolling. I'm just going to leave that at 0 for the time being. Now we can style each individual element with our animations, and here we have a whole range of animations available. So let me go in and have a look. So in Dunedin github.io/animate.css, if we look at the logo there, you can see how the different animations take place. So we've got all of these different options available for us. So let's go in and take a look. So I want to keep it pretty straightforward for this display. I want everything to the font icon and the blurb to slide in from the left, and then I want the button to slide in from the right. So we can go in, you can type in this as well and it will start typing. So we want to fade in left big, and I want it to take a second to do. I'm going to do exactly the same. Fade in left big. I'm going to do exactly the same animations for the font awesome and the blurb, because that way they will happen at the same time. And then I'm going to make the button fade in right big, and I'll make it take a second as well. So that's the moment it will take to slide in from the right and reach its destination and finish the animation. But this time I want it to take a second. So these two will fire at the same time, and then when they actually finish, this one will fire because it's delayed by a second. Let's check that out. So let's go back. If we hit refresh, and there we go. I must have that fade out right. I had a fade out right big, not fade in right big. So there was a difference. So you saw it jumped out to the right. Let's hit refresh on that. And there we go. You can see we've got it in there. I'm just going to go back in. I'm just going to delete that spinning icon, just so it's all on the one line. And there we go. So the other thing I can do is go in here. Let's make it only delay by 0.5 of a second. So 0.5 of a second, so half a second. So now the anchor and the blurb should still be moving when this one starts. Let's hit refresh. And there you go. So it looks pretty cool. But the other thing I want you to check out, is when I hit refresh from the top, if I scroll down, you can see they don't start firing until they come into view. So we can have these all the way down the page and they won't start firing until the scroller, the user, scrolls down and reaches that point. And of course, they are responsive. So you can see there they are responsive. So that is my animations and the content block. So if you want to check out more of the Animate CSS, that's the link there. All the font awesome examples are there, and of course to buy my block, head on to headwaythemesextend.com and check out some of the other blocks I have available for Headway users, as well as some available templates. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. My name's John, and I'll see you in the forums. Don't forget, if you like what you read, make sure you subscribe, or of course hit like. Thanks for watching.